You're watching the Real Football Network. I'm John Pollard, and this is Real Football Analytics. Well, it's Week 10, and today we're going to talk about the feature matchup of the weekend, which is the Arizona Cardinals traveling to Seattle to take on division rivals the Seattle Seahawks. Well, look, these are two top 10 defenses in terms of points per game allowed and total yards allowed to their opponents' offenses. This is going to be quite a matchup. And what do we do every week here at the Real Football Network? When it's a great matchup, we put it into the Real Football Network's matchup machine. Let's go to the machine and take a look at this game. Okay, let's hit the machine. We're looking at the Arizona Cardinals offense against the Seattle Seahawks defense. As you can see, this is a close matchup. As we mentioned in the open, we have an equal amount of yellow where the teams are evenly matched up, and green and reds. This is as close as it gets, folks. And when we're talking about an offense and a defense so closely matched up, where do you want to go? Let's talk about the turnover game. First off, at the top, you can see Arizona is 10th in the league in turnover differential, where the Seahawks are 18th. Let's take one click down and look at the giveaways versus takeaways. You know, Arizona has really protected the ball well in the air. They have had a challenge with fumbling the ball. They're 28th in the league in fumbles. And actually, when we look at a low rank for the Seattle's defense, we looked at the numbers a little more closely. They've had challenges taking the ball away in the air. Actually, the Seahawks defense is 6th best in the league in recovered fumbles. This could be an area of opportunity where you see Pete Carroll's defense try to strip the ball away from the running backs of the Arizona Cardinals. Let's keep a close eye on that as the game goes on. Let's move down to the big plays per game. It's incredible. Both teams, Arizona's offense is first in the league in big plays per game. And just to remind our listeners, big plays are defined as 10-plus yard runs and 20-plus yard passes. Arizona's done the best at that through the first 9 weeks of the season. And Seattle's defense has been the best at limiting their opponents at that. Something we wanted to point out, Carson Palmer is number 1 in the league amongst all quarterbacks in big plays against the blitz. He has 19 big pass plays against the blitz. So if Seattle's going to try to create pressure, which they've had a hard time doing this year, Carson might find an opportunity deep downfield in a blitzing situation. Also, I want to jump to sacks allowed and sacks created by both these teams. First off, the Arizona Cardinals offensive line has done a nice job keeping Carson in a clean pocket, giving him time to throw and find his receivers. And of course, Seattle's defense has done well on the sacks. They've been challenged in creating pressures, but they have been able to get to the quarterback, and they're ranked 11th in the league. Seattle, in this case, if they want to create some pressure on Carson, they might want to blitz. But we looked at the numbers. The Seahawks defense is 29th in the league in blitz frequency. However, they are 5th in the league in impact when they blitz. And again, impact on a blitz is creating a sack, a pressure, or a turnover. Seattle doesn't blitz a lot, but when they do, they can get to the quarterback. So a few well-placed blitzes might be just what the doctor ordered for the Seahawks to face this Cardinals offense. Finally, I want to talk about the pass yards, the passing game, Cardinals offense versus the Seahawks defense. Carson's only thrown 5 pickable passes year to date. He's been very good given the fact that Carson's first in the league amongst all quarterbacks in pass yards per attempt downfield. He throws the ball on an average of 9.1 yards downfield per attempt, and again, that's number 1 in the league. And for him to have only 5 pickable passes and not turn the ball over a lot, that's pretty remarkable. Now let's take a look at the Seahawks offense matched up against the Cardinals defense. Immediately, as you can see, the edge based on ranks year to date goes to the Arizona Cardinals defense. Let's move down to some specific areas. Let's start with the sacks allowed by the Seattle Seahawks offense against sacks created with the Cardinals. Now, the Seahawks have had a challenge protecting Russell Wilson all year. And the Cardinals are 3rd in the league in blitz frequency. They're also 3rd best in the league in blitz impact, creating impact at 42.9% when they blitz. Again, impact is when they create a pressure, a sack, or turnover. The Cards are also 2nd in the league in creating impact against the quarterback or their opposing team when they don't blitz. They have an impact play 30.7% of the time. What this means is the Cardinals can mix a lot of blitzes in with non-blitzes and try to confuse Russell Wilson. However, we fully expect the Cardinals to come with a heavy dose of blitz to try to create some turnovers. Now, Russell, against the blitz, through the first 9 weeks of the season, he's 8th in the league in completion percentage versus the blitz. He's also tied for 8th in the league, creating 9 big pass plays versus the blitz, and these are pass plays 20-plus yards down the field. If Russell can diagnose the blitz, or they can get the right scheme in terms of route runs for their receivers, and we think perhaps the tight ends in particular, there might be some big play opportunities downfield for the Seahawks when the Cardinals blitz. Also, even though Russell's known to be an athletic quarterback and extremely mobile, we found this to be interesting. For the first 9 weeks of the season, Russell has a completion percentage of 73.2% when he's not under pressure. However, when he is pressured and on the move, his completion percentage goes down to 57.6%. Let's move down to the passing game. The Seattle Seahawks offense is at a real hard time, creating offense in the air, 28th in the league, as you can see. And the Arizona Cardinals defense ranked one of the better defenses in the league against the pass, particularly buttressed by a high blitz scheme and also those incredible defensive backs that they have. We did dive into the numbers in terms of the Arizona Cardinals passing chart in terms of their defense, and we found some interesting things. First off, the Cardinals defense has allowed an extremely low completion percentage of 47.8% at the boundaries. That means there's probably not going to be a lot of opportunities for Russell Wilson and the Seahawks to attack at the edges. When we looked at the maps a little bit more in more detail, we saw that the Cardinals do have or have allowed a 71% completion percentage in the left, right, and middle areas of the field. Going a bit further, in the short to behind the line of scrimmage areas, the short range passes, the Cardinals have given up 73.5% completion percentage to opposing quarterbacks in this middle seam. Also, on the deep balls, the intermediate passes of 11 to 20 yards and 21 plus yards, the Cardinals have allowed a 63.2% completion percentage. What this translates to, there could be some real opportunities in the middle of the field to get the tight ends into the game for the Seattle Seahawks. We look for Jimmy Graham to have a big game, or at least the Seahawks to get him into the mix quite a bit. Well, there you have it, the matchup machine, taking a look at the Arizona Cardinals versus the Seattle Seahawks. For the Cardinals offense against the Seahawks defense, well, that matchup, being so close, might come down to a key turnover or a big play at the right moment. For the Seahawks offense versus the Cardinals defense, well, the Cardinals will put pressure on Russell Wilson and that Seattle Seahawks passing game. The Seahawks are going to have to run the ball with authority, try to mix in some gadget plays, perhaps even some screen plays, and get Jimmy Graham and the tight ends in the mix in the middle of the field. For Real Football Analytics, I'm John Pollard.